Welcome to the black sheep An Caora Dubh. We're here in the Derryveigh Hills and we're just about to move these few ladies here over to a new paddock. We move these sheep daily here. We follow a holistic planned grazing model, which means that the sheep or the whatever livestock we're grazing at the time, sheep at the moment, are kept bunched and moving using electric fences. And the whole idea is that by keeping the animals bunched and moving, not only do they get fresh grass every day, we get a great trample effect on the ground. You can see here this mulch is really quite nice and deep, and all of that goes to, of course, all of this goes to building soil matter in the coming season. So the grass gets trampled, we get a nice concentrated covering of dung and urine in one area, and then, like I say, the girls get moved off to their fresh ground the next day. So I've just set up a new pen for them to take them through the next 24 hours, and I'll take a wee video of the move that's coming up, and you'll see how low stress these animals really are. They're well used to the routine now. These girls have been doing it for about 5 weeks at this stage, 4 weeks, and before that they just came fresh off the hill. So I'm really impressed with how quickly they've become used to the electric fencing. And yeah, they're loving it. You see, as you'll see in a moment, when they get led onto the fresh grass, they're just heads down. They know what they're there for. They're there working straight away, straight in and munching. You can see at the moment, a few of them are chewing the cud. They're sitting down. They're nice and relaxed. They're not bleating, so they're well fed. They're well looked after. It's a real balancing act between the size of the flock you're managing and the quality of the forage you're giving them, and the length of time you're allowing them to stay in one location. At the moment, I'm using one 50-meter net per day, so that's working out at roughly about 130 square meters for 30 lambs. And I'm really happy with the trampling effect that we're getting, and the animals seem sated. They're not bleeding, they're not hungry, they're not showing any signs of discomfort, so that's a good sign. And of course, the added benefit as well of moving to fresh pasture every day means that any parasite cycle is broken. This ground here in particular hasn't had any stock on it since about April or May time, I would imagine. This is ground that I had leased to a neighbour, but it's, as I say, it's been stock free since about then. It's quite stalky. It's quite old and mature and less than palatable. If the animals weren't grouped and moved in this fashion, then they would pick around it, and you'd end up with a lot of biomass standing and really left untrampled or uneaten. So with this method here, we're getting full utilization of the sward as it stands. We're building soil, and we're getting a far more efficient use of the ground that's available to us. So I'll show you the move now. Okay, so I've just lifted these 3 pegs here. The old paddock, you can see them all getting ready. They know the routine here, and we're putting you into this fresh pen here. Today, there's a redundant sheepdog just stalking through the grass there because he knows what's up as well. Sit! So yeah, let's go. Let's show you what this is all about. So what we do is we just come around. Again, they know what's up. Sit! Go straight in to the new ground. Head down. No shouting. No chasing, no stress. Nice system, I say. You can see here the very definitive line between the newer paddock, the new grass I've just given them, and the old paddock that they were in. They were moved around about this time yesterday. So yeah, they were on this for about 23 hours. And yeah, I mean, you can just see how concentrated the dunging is. And that trampling effect, of course. With this grass, it's allowed to get mature and stands. It oxidizes at the end of the season. And that's why farmland, particularly in the kind of climate setting that we have, eventually tends to unpalatable, woodier species. We really need this animal impact as a management tool, and you just don't get that animal impact unless you are, in our climate, unless you are moving these animals in fairly high localized densities, but moving them regularly. So all of this biomass, because it's now been trampled and it's not standing free to the air, it's not going to oxidize. It's going to break down through the action of our microbes and soil life, and this carbon is going to be sequestered and will help us build soil. So year on year we're actually building soil from the top down, and with this effect, we'd also expect to see an increase in the diversity of species that we're seeing in this pasture. Now, I've benchmarked, I've done transit surveys on all of these plots that I'm managing at the moment, so I know what's here now. I know what kind of species diversity we have, and these are these data sets I'll be updating in the coming years, maybe twice a year or something, around about the same time of year. So over time we should be able to plot the positive impact that this is having, this style of management is having on our pastures here. So yeah, happy so far. I'm happy, sheep are happy, dog's unhappy. This guy over here is unhappy because he's out of a job. Good times. So this is the ladies in the new paddock for the night. They put to bed. Just using a very simple 9-volt portable charger. This is quite a nice unit. So yeah, as I say, these girls are flat out, straight to work. They know what they're here for. I've got a great picture actually from about a week into when I was trialing this method of grazing up in one of the other plots on the farm a while ago, where I'd come through about 6 weeks before with the scythe, and I'd taken all of the older kind of rushes that were standing in the field, you know, the soft rush, Juncus effusius, and I'd taken that down just with a scythe. So we had a juvenile kind of green growth coming back, and when I penned them in, there was a clump right next to the fence. I took a photo of it just as I moved them in for that particular day's grazing. I came back the next day, and that juvenile fresh growth had been taken right back down to ground level again. So it'll be interesting now next year, you know, after Christmas time into spring, and to go round and some of the fields that have an infestation of rushes to one degree or another, just to take those down either with some, I would imagine, some kind of a quad flail mower or something, just knock them back about 6 weeks, 8 weeks before I go back in with the sheep, and you know, to try and stress that plant again a couple of times during the season to see if we can turn that that pesky weed into some tasty lamb and mutton. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works. You can check out that post was on Instagram. So yeah, fairly active on Instagram as well. Have been for a while. This Facebook thing is quite new to me in terms of representing what I'm doing here on the farm. So so yeah, if you use Instagram, check that out. I'm also on Twitter, but perhaps not as regularly. I'm sure we'll see how these videos work out, if I can get any better at them, or you know, if we get a few likes and thumbs up, I might I'll keep producing them. So thanks for watching.